It's Tuesday, June 9th. In the headlines, Jamaica Teachers Association President Mark Malava warns of teachers reaching their breaking point over salary talks. In business news, large corporates pull in record profit. Regionally, Belize tapped to chair Caribbean Development Bank board. And in sports, Reggae Girls draw 0-0 with Panama in international friendly. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Jamaica Teachers Association President Mark Malava is warning that educators are deeply frustrated over stalled salary negotiations with the government. He says he's no longer prepared to urge teachers to exercise restraint amid rising transportation costs and mounting financial pressures. Speaking at the St. Thomas Chapter Conference of the JTA over the weekend, Mr. Malava maintained that trained graduate teachers be prioritized in the compensation package. This issue is a major sticking point in the ongoing negotiations.
We are very concerned about it because our salaries are not moving. Again, we are in year 2 of a proposed 3-year deal. Our teachers are growing increasingly restive again. As I indicated earlier, there are some deal breakers, and based on what the government has put on the offer, on their offer and sent to us, we are nowhere near what it is that we are willing to accept.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says delays in completing government infrastructure projects are often linked to the strict systems designed to ensure accountability in the use of public funds. Speaking on the issue at the recent opening of the Troy Bridge in Trelawney, Dr. Holness acknowledged that while safeguards and procedures are necessary, they can become overly rigid and slow the delivery of critical projects.
Over many decades, countries around the world learned difficult lessons about poorly planned projects. Bridges were built without proper designs, roads were approved without adequate engineering studies, costs were underestimated, budgets were exceeded, projects were started sometimes even without financing, and taxpayers ultimately paid the price. To prevent those mistakes, government developed systems of public investment appraisal.
Noting that it took too long to replace the bridge that collapsed after Tropical Storm Grace, the Prime Minister also contended that delayed construction increases overall project costs.
When a bridge remains closed for years, there is a cost. When a farmer must travel farther to market, there is a cost. When a student spends additional hours commuting, there is a cost. When a business incurs higher transportation expenses, it costs you.
Noting the bridge's link to the local economy, he lamented the cost and elements of the pre-planning procedure to replace some of the island's infrastructure.
I can't complain, because ultimately it is the government that makes the law. And I want everybody to appreciate that the government can change the law as well.
The new $230 million Troy Bridge links the Troy to Oxford Main Road at the Manchester-Trelawney border. National Environment and Planning Agency is looking to inspire the next generation of environmental leaders through a new initiative aimed at students across Jamaica. Launched during NEPA's 25th anniversary distinguished lecture, the Junior CEO for the Day program will give young people an opportunity to showcase their ideas on sustainable development while gaining hands-on leadership experience. More from Demita Rodney.
Jamaica's future environmental leaders are being invited to step into the spotlight. Speaking during NEPA's 25th anniversary distinguished lecture, Chief Executive Officer Leonard Francis says this Junior CEO initiative is expected to raise youth awareness of sustainable development, empowering them to share ideas while strengthening their leadership skills.
Now, the reality is that as we move along, we're seeing a young generation coming up. And if we do not want AI to replace us, I want an AI running NEPA, I want an AI being a preacher, I want an AI being your wife or your husband or whatever it is, we have to mentor those who are coming after us.
Mr. Francis continues, saying the initiative is a critical investment in Jamaica's future leaders and environmental sustainability efforts.
If we have a young CEO every year coming right up, the possibility is that what will happen is that we'll always have a cadre of young minds who are ready to replace every single one of us in a sustainable development business. That is what will happen. But we just don't want a program for a program or a project. We want persons who are going to invest in them.
The NEPA CEO adds that the experience won't end after the competition, as the junior CEO for the day will also benefit from a mentorship program within the agency.
Now, that student that comes in will, for that day, and I know the purists are going to say it cannot happen, will have a certain level of autonomy, authority, and they will sit in my chair for that day, chair the various meetings that I chair. Of course, they get somebody to guide them so they don't destroy the world. And we're also going to be taking them around to the UN, the various permanent secretaries, the minister. And we want to do that for 3 days. We also want, at the time they'll be out, because Eva said, you cannot take children out of school. So NEPA itself is a university, right? Let's face that fact. And so we'll also be teaching them, we'll teach them for those times so we'll not miss. And we want them to continue to be part of a program of mentorship because NEPA is strong on mentorship and success.
Deputy Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Education, Dr. Winnie Berry, says the initiative complements the national standards curriculum by reinforcing lessons on sustainability, leadership, and responsible citizenship.
The Junior CEO program embodies these aspirations. It challenges students to examine real environmental issues, connect them to the principles of sustainable development, and propose practical solutions. Importantly, it gives young people a platform to use their voices creatively and digital storytelling skills to influence positive change.
Additional details about the Junior CEO for the Day initiative are available on NEPA's official website. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
The Meteorological Service says a flash flood watch for low-lying and flood-prone areas of Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew is effective until 5 p.m. on Wednesday, June 10, 2026. According to the Met Service, an active tropical wave is currently moving across Jamaica and is interacting with an upper-level trough. This is producing unstable weather conditions, and this will continue until late Wednesday afternoon. The forecast is for periods of showers and thunderstorms, which may be heavy at times to affect the island, especially across southern parishes throughout the period. In our hurricane tip this week, we look at what is a hurricane. A hurricane is a large storm that forms over warm waters in tropical areas and rotates around an area of low pressure, which produces strong winds and heavy rain. When preparing for a hurricane, you should create an emergency kit. In this kit, you should include water boots, raincoats, flashlights, batteries, a portable radio, kerosene lamps, candles, matches, and a first aid kit. These things are important for you to have in case you have to go outside if there is no electricity or if you get a minor injury. During a hurricane, stay inside. This keeps you safe from heavy winds and objects that may be flying through the air. In our Living Healthy report, the Pan American Health Organization and the Ministry of Health, Tourism and Sports in Anguilla have launched the HEARTS initiative, aimed at strengthening primary cardiovascular care across the island through improved hypertension management, expanded access to medication, and increased public awareness. Esme Carty shares a bit of her experience with the program.
Managing my hypertension has not been difficult because I am a person who's very cautious of health, not over health conscious, but cautious. Because of the history in my family, there were two things that I wanted to avoid was diabetes and hypertension.
The program will also introduce standardized treatment guidelines, a national hypertension registry, and specialized training for healthcare professionals as part of efforts to reduce heart disease and improve patient care.
I don't miss my medication. And she's always said, take your medication at the same time. I do that. I try to eat properly, and I can pause and say here, thanks to the class at the South Hill Clinic, which Nurse Myers did. I learned a whole lot in controlling blood pressure, a whole lot, like reading labels, like checking your blood pressure, doing your doctor visits, listening to what your doctors say, taking your medication. So that helped me a lot.
Here's her advice to fellow seniors and patients with non-communicable diseases.
I would say, listen to your doctor. Listen to your body too, because your body speaks to you, right? And take your medication. I know you have a lot of thing about taking medication. Take your medication. If there's a problem with you taking your medication, tell your doctor. Don't stop yourself and don't tell your doctor. Change your eating habits. If you like processed food, it's not good for you, as Nurse Myers would say.
Time now for the business report.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. So let's take a look at some of the large conglomerates on the Jamaica Stock Exchange and their financial results. For the year ended December 31, 2025, Victoria Mutual Investments reported consolidated revenue of $2.36 billion and net profit of $165.9 million. Speaking at the company's 9th annual general meeting held on Thursday, June 4, Chief Executive Officer Resworth Burchison reported that total assets increased by 15.1% to $35.06 billion, while underlying profit grew by 24.1% year over year after adjusting for the impact of a one-time gain recorded in 2024. And I quote, "It was not an easy year," end quote, said Burchison. He continued, "Economic growth was largely flat. The average Jamaican public equity stock declined by close to 15%. Treasury bill yields continued to decline, and we saw volatility across both bond and equity markets. Despite those conditions, we continued to execute on our strategy," end quote. Next, we look at the JMMB Group Limited, which has reported a net profit of $1.87 billion for the financial year ended March 31, 2026. Commenting on the results, Patrick Ellis, Chief Financial Officer of JMMB Group, stated, Our results reflect strong underlying performance across our core operations driven by growth in net interest income, increased foreign exchange activity, and the continued expansion of our fee-based income streams. Importantly, we have improved our operation efficiency, strengthened our balance sheet, and enhanced our cash generation, positioning the group for sustainable long-term growth. And finally, for the year ended December 31, 2025, Jamaica Producers Group Limited reported consolidated net profit attributable to shareholders of $2.3 billion, representing a 42% increase over the $1.6 billion recorded in 2024. Speaking at the company's recently held annual general meeting, Jamaica Producers Chairman Charles Johnston highlighted another year of strong financial performance and strategic progress, driven by the continued growth of Pan Jamaica Group Limited, in which Jamaica Producers remains the single largest shareholder. For the trading period of June 5, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Kintyre Holdings Jamaica Limited with 9,388,541 units, representing 33.33% of market sales activity. Trans Jamaica Highway Limited with 6,384,296 units, representing 22.66% of market sales activities. The Limnas and Bards Limited with 3,989,801 units, representing 14.16% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation, distribution, and advertising plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for June 8, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. The US dollar saw trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $157.04 and buying at $158.51. The Canadian dollar saw a moderate gain supported by 72 cents transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $114.01 and was bought for $113.29. The British pound saw continued volatility, offering short-term trading opportunities of $1.97 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $211.23 and was bought for $209.26. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, what if I told you that your next vacation, conference, or business trip could be funded by money you're already spending? Most people think of credit as a way to borrow money. Successful consumers and business owners understand something different. Credit can be a tool that creates opportunities. When used strategically, your credit score, credit report, and credit cards can work together to help you earn travel rewards, reduce travel expenses, and unlock experiences that might otherwise seem out of reach. It starts with your credit report. Think of your credit report as your financial resume. Then your credit score creates access. Your credit score is more than just a number. It can determine whether you qualify for travel cards. With this strategy, you can turn everyday spending into travel experiences. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association has launched one of its largest ever trade missions to Guyana and Suriname, bringing together nearly 60 business representatives from a wide range of industries. The week-long initiative is aimed at expanding exports, securing new markets, strengthening supply chains, and boosting foreign exchange earnings while deepening regional trade and investment ties. Sunil Lala has the latest.
A delegation, one of Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association's largest ever, arrived in Guyana on Monday as part of a dual-country trade mission aimed at expanding exports, building partnerships, and boosting foreign exchange earnings for local manufacturers. Led by TTMA President Emil Ramkissoon, the mission comprises 38 companies with a clear mandate of expanding business, building partnerships, and seizing opportunity. He noted that over the past several years, both Guyana and Suriname have emerged as key markets of interest for TTMA members, seeking opportunity for market entry, expansion of existing client relationships, investment in high-growth sectors, and the sourcing of products and services. He added that the mission has been carefully designed to support these objectives while providing delegates with valuable insights into the evolving landscapes of both countries. TTMA's CEO, Dr. Mahendra Ramesh Ramdeen, said the mission is just getting started. The delegation includes approximately 60 participants from a wide cross-section of industries, including food and beverage, construction, chemicals, and packaging.
TTMA has brought a trade mission here to Guyana, first leg of the journey. Thereafter, we go into Suriname for 3 more days. We have a large delegation of 59 persons, 10 representing Tobago. We have people represented the chemical sector, food and beverage, printing and packaging, construction, health and beauty, to name a few.
The mission is focused on securing new markets while also helping companies strengthen their supply chains and production inputs. Dr. Ramdeen clearly stated that increasing export earnings remains central to the initiative.
The objective remains the same, which is to gain market access into Guyana and Suriname, so thereby earning your own foreign exchange. Others are seeking to explore opportunities to source products into the manufacturing process, thereby diversifying their portfolio for sourcing products into manufacturing.
He said more than 100 business-to-business meetings have already been arranged as companies move to convert interest into concrete deals.
We look forward to very successful meetings, B2B meetings. We have well over 100 meetings set up for our manufacturers, and we do anticipate that great returns will come from this trade mission.
The week-long mission will also include networking events and market intelligence sessions as the TTMA pushes to deepen trade ties with 2 of the region's fastest-growing economies. The association also congratulated 21 companies for participating in their first TTMA trade mission. The delegation moves on to Suriname later this week, with the association saying it is confident that this mission will further deepen economic cooperation between Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana and Suriname, while unlocking new opportunities for trade and investment throughout the region.
Belize is preparing to take on a major regional leadership role after being selected to chair the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank for the 2026-2027 term. The appointment was announced at the bank's 56th annual meeting in the Bahamas and comes as Belize gears up to host the CDB's 57th annual meeting in June 2027.
There is major news coming out of Caribbean Development Bank's 56th annual meeting in the Bahamas. Belize has been elected to hold the chairmanship of the CDB Board of Governors for the 2026-2027 term. Minister of State Dr. Osman Martinez attended the event. So what does this mean for Belize? Well, it transitions us from a standard borrowing member into strategic regional leadership to steer development agendas across the Caribbean.
Belize is deeply honored to accept the chairmanship of the Board of Governors for the upcoming period as we prepare to host the 57th annual meeting in June 2027. This occasion marks a significant milestone for us as Belize will be hosting the annual meeting for the second time since 1994. Belize approaches this responsibility with both humility and ambition.
As Belize prepares to take on this chairmanship, we do so with a distinct sense of purpose and possibility. Our country occupies a unique space in our region, geographically part of Central America, historically and culturally rooted in the Caribbean, and deeply committed to the shared prosperity of both. That position has shaped much of our approach to development. It has taught us that resilience does not happen in isolation. It is built through connection and integration.
Belize last hosted the Caribbean Development Bank annual meeting in 1994.
In sports, we begin with some football news. Jamaican women's national football team Reggae Girls played to a 0-0 draw with Panama's women's national football team in their second international friendly in Panama City on Tuesday. The Reggae Girls had won the opening match 1-0 on Friday and now have extended their unbeaten run against Panama to 4 matches. Veteran midfielder Denisha Blackhood missed a first-half penalty after her effort struck the crossbar in the 26th minute. Natasha Thomas also came close to scoring before half-time, while defender Konya Plummer was denied late in stoppage time by Panama's goalkeeper, Yanith Bailey. In cricket, West Indies Cricket has named a 15-member squad for the 3-match T20 International Series against Sri Lanka. The first matches run from June 11th to 14th at Sabina Park. This is the team's first T20 series since this year's ICC Men's T20 World Cup.
The 3-match T20 International Series against Sri Lanka in Jamaica forms a key part of the West Indies' preparations for the 2028 ICC Men's T20 World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Young batsmen Akeem Auguste and Jewel Andrew, along with all-rounder Shamar Springer, are the 3 changes from the side that fell just short of the semi-finals at the global event. Fast bowler Alzari Joseph was left out under workload management and will prepare for the 2-match test series in Antigua. Head coach Darren Sammy says the series is a chance to entertain home supporters and build on the passion and togetherness shown at the World Cup. He wants the team to keep growing and make fans proud against Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, Shamar Joseph, who returned home ahead of the 3rd ODI for personal reasons, is expected back before the series on June 9th.
The Women's Caribbean Premier League is entering a bold new era. Fixtures for the 2026 tournament are now live, and the entire competition will unfold in Barbados this September.
The 2026 Women's Caribbean Premier League has been re-engineered from the ground up, designed to put Caribbean women center stage and inspire the next generation of female cricketers. All matches will be played in Barbados over a 10-day festival of cricket in the first 2 weeks of September, with 8 games staged at the iconic Kensington Oval. 4 franchises will battle for the title: the Barbados Tridents, Guyana Amazon Warriors, Trinbago Knight Riders, and the newly created Jamaica Empress. Built around the values of empowerment, the will to win and community, the league's new campaign, She's In, rolls out across social media region-wide. Every match day promises more than cricket, with children's activity zones, health and wellness checks, and a showcase for female entrepreneurs. Organisers say this is only the beginning, with plans to welcome teams from outside the Caribbean in 2027, turning the WCPL into a truly global competition.
And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.